The 2026 World Cup has not even finished, and America is already talking about hosting another one. Not in some distant, vague way. A member of the White House's own World Cup task force has openly floated the idea that the United States should bid to host the tournament again, just 12 years from now, in 2038. For a country that just spent years building stadiums, selling tickets, and preparing cities for this summer's tournament, the idea of doing it all over again so soon caught a lot of people off guard, especially across the Atlantic. This is the story of that request, why it surprised so many people in Europe, and whether America actually has a real shot at pulling it off. It started with a simple statement from Andrew Giuliani, who leads the White House's World Cup task force. Speaking publicly as the 2026 tournament wound down, he argued that no country is better positioned to host an expanded World Cup than the United States, pointing to the infrastructure built for this summer's tournament and the fact that America is also hosting the Summer Olympics in 2028. The logic, on paper, sounds simple. Why let all of that new infrastructure sit unused for over a decade when it could be put to work again? But the comment landed at a strange moment, right as fans, teams, and broadcasters were still fully focused on the tournament actually happening right now, not the one 12 years away. For fans and officials across Europe, the timing felt almost backwards. The world had just watched Morocco, Portugal, and Spain get officially confirmed as hosts of the 2030 World Cup, a tournament that will also include centenary celebration matches in Uruguay, Argentina, and Paraguay to mark the 100th anniversary of the very first World Cup in 1930. That tournament represents a huge moment for European and African football. It is the first World Cup ever to be held across 3 different continents, the first in Africa since South Africa, hosted back in 2010, and the first time Portugal has ever hosted World Cup matches at all. Spain, meanwhile, is returning to the world stage for the first time since 1982, and the celebrations planned around the tournament's 100th anniversary are already being treated as one of the most significant moments in the competition's modern history. With all of that still ahead, hearing American officials talk about their own next World Cup, a full cycle later, felt to a lot of European fans like getting ahead of the line before their own tournament had even started. Social media reaction across several European football communities picked up on that timing almost immediately, with plenty of fans pointing out that America seemed to be looking past not just the current tournament, but the entire next one as well. To understand why this comment raised eyebrows, it helps to understand how FIFA decides who gets to host in the first place. For years, FIFA has generally avoided letting the same region host back-to-back tournaments, giving different parts of the world a fair chance to hold the event. This unofficial rotation system has shaped hosting decisions for decades, ensuring that no single continent dominates the calendar for too long, and that smaller or less established footballing regions eventually get their turn in the spotlight. Under that pattern, since North America just hosted in 2026, and the regions hosting 2030 and 2034, Europe combined with Africa and South America, and then Saudi Arabia representing Asia, are generally expected to sit out the cycle right after their own turn. That would leave 2038 open mainly to regions that have not hosted recently, which is exactly why North America, and separately Oceania, are seen as the most realistic contenders for that specific tournament, at least under FIFA's usual, unwritten pattern. In other words, the American comment was not as far-fetched as it first sounded. It was actually pointing at the one open window in the rotation where a US bid would make sense under FIFA's usual pattern, even if the timing of saying it out loud, before the current tournament had even ended, struck plenty of people as premature. Quick pause before we get into how realistic this actually is. If you're finding this interesting, go ahead and subscribe, because we're tracking World Cup hosting news for 2030, 2034, and beyond all year. And drop a comment. Do you think America should host again this soon? Or should it wait longer? Let's keep going. There is a real argument behind the idea, even if the timing surprised people. The United States, Canada, and Mexico just built or upgraded a huge amount of stadium and transportation infrastructure for the 2026 tournament, at massive cost. With the Summer Olympics also landing in Los Angeles in 2028, American officials are pointing to a rare stretch where the country will already have hosted 2 of the biggest events in world sport within a short window. giving it a level of readiness that is hard for most other countries to match on short notice. Supporters of a future U.S. bid argue that letting all of that fresh infrastructure sit unused for over a decade, only to rebuild interest and investment from scratch later, does not make much sense from a purely practical standpoint. On the other side, plenty of people, both in Europe and within the sport itself, see real problems with the idea. Part of the appeal of FIFA's rotation system is variety. Fans and officials across smaller footballing nations, many of whom have waited decades for a real shot at hosting, worry that letting large, wealthy countries dominate the calendar again so soon undermines the entire point of rotating the tournament in the first place. There is also a simple fairness argument. Regions, like Africa, after finally getting a bigger moment in the spotlight through the 2030 tournament, are unlikely to feel enthusiastic about North America jumping back into serious contention for the very next opening after that. And there is the matter of formal process. As of now, this is one official floating an idea publicly. It is not a submitted bid, not a FIFA announcement, and not anything close to a decision. A lot can change, and likely will, in the years between now and any actual vote. Online, reaction from European fans has been a mix of amusement and mild frustration. Some fans have treated it as a joke, pointing out that the 2026 tournament, the one actually happening right now, has not even wrapped up before American officials started talking about the next one. Others have taken it more seriously, expressing genuine concern that a wealthy, well-resourced bidding country could crowd out smaller nations that have been waiting far longer for a real opportunity to host. A smaller group of fans, especially those who enjoyed traveling to America this summer, have actually been supportive, arguing that a well-run, well-funded tournament benefits everyone who wants to attend, regardless of which country happens to be footing the bill. Some fans specifically pointed to the quality of stadiums, transportation, and overall organization during the 2026 tournament as evidence that America could genuinely deliver another successful event without much additional strain. Any conversation about a future American bid inevitably circles back to how this year's tournament actually went, since that track record is the strongest piece of evidence either side can point to. The 2026 tournament was already historic before a ball was kicked, as the first World Cup ever co-hosted by 3 nations, and the first to feature an expanded field of 48 teams instead of the traditional 32. Delivering a tournament of that scale across the United States, Canada, and Mexico required an enormous logistical effort, new stadium upgrades, expanded transportation planning, and coordination between 3 separate national governments. Supporters of a future bid point to that successful execution as proof the country and the wider region can handle an event of this size without major issues. Critics counter that pulling off one historic, oversized tournament does not automatically mean the appetite or the infrastructure will still be there 12 years later, especially once attention shifts toward hosting the Olympics in 2028 and then eventually toward whatever comes after that. For now, there is no formal timeline. FIFA has not opened a bidding process for 2038, and no country has been officially confirmed as a candidate. Under the usual rotation pattern, North America and Oceania remain the most likely regions in contention once that process eventually begins, but plenty of details and plenty of politics still have to play out before anything becomes official. What is clear is that the conversation has already started, years earlier than most fans expected, and that America's early interest has put the rest of the football world on notice that the country intends to be part of the conversation the next time hosting rights come up. Underneath all of this is a bigger question about how the World Cup itself is changing. Tournaments keep growing larger, involve more countries, and stretch across more continents than ever before. The idea of a single country, or even 3 countries, comfortably hosting the whole event on their own is starting to look old-fashioned compared to the sprawling, multi-continent format already planned for 2030. Whether America ends up hosting again in 2038, or whether the tournament goes somewhere that has never hosted before, this moment says something honest about where the World Cup is heading. Bigger, more competitive to host, and with more countries than ever wanting their turn in the spotlight. And that's the story of the comment that got the whole football world talking, years before anyone expected it to. If this gives you a clearer picture of what's coming next, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Subscribe if you're new, because we're covering every twist in the road to 2030, 2034, and whatever comes after that. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think America deserves another shot this soon? And check out the video right there on your screen, because you're going to want to see that one too. See you in the next one.